So Galactic Conquest has been a hot-button issue in the Battlefront community since the first game did not include it, and a lot of people wanted it. Basically, if you don't know how the game mode works, there's the whole galaxy, you know, it's all a bunch of planets, and you have your capital ship, the enemy capital ship, and basically what you're trying to do is you capture all the planets, but if the two ships meet up, you would have a space battle. And it worked because in the first Battlefront 2, all the maps, or most of the maps, can be played with both armies. So you could select which one you wanted to do, and it would dramatically increase the amount of planets that you could play this on. But in the new Battlefront 2, that doesn't exist. All of the planets are era locked or era specific. For example, Naboo is only Clone Wars, Hoth is only original trilogy, Starkiller Base is sequel. So that decreases the amount of planets that you could use dramatically. For example, the Clone Wars, you could have maybe 4 planets in total at launch. So you couldn't play that with Galactic Conquest. It wouldn't work. You would have 4 moves to make. Even if you added space battles in between all of those 4 planets, you would have 8 total moves to make in total. And that just wouldn't be fun. No one would play that. So what I think is going to happen is they're probably going to add it into DLC probably later on into the Battlefront 2 life cycle, probably maybe next summer, once there's more planets for all the eras. Hopefully more planets for the sequel and prequel than they add for original trilogy, because like they said, they don't want to waste any of the original assets they made for the first Battlefront, so they're probably going to end up porting a whole lot of those maps over. That's why, if you see my other video, most of the heroes that are in the game so far are from the original trilogy, because they don't want to waste all those assets. So, Galactic Conquest might work for the original trilogy, but that's it. Because that probably going to launch with enough planets to make this work. Even if they included Scarif from Rogue One in that, it would probably work. But it would be smaller than the original Galactic Conquest, but it would still kind of work. So maybe the game will launch with just the original trilogy with the option to do that, but a lot of people would probably get mad because people like to play as the clones and the droids, because that's what they chose to launch the multiplayer reveal with, because a lot of people were pissed that wasn't in the first Battlefront. So also another big problem is space battles. So if you played the first Battlefront 2, you know how the space battle works. The 2 capital ships pull up next to each other, and you basically would pilot your ship into the other ship, and you could blow it up from the inside, or you could attack things from the outside after the shield has been destroyed. We don't know how the space battle works in Battlefront 2. The only thing we have to go off of is this one paragraph from the Battlefront 2 website, which basically says you could blow up capital ships and run through Imperial dockyards, but we don't know what that means. We don't know. People have been speculating from this part from the trailer where you could see the insides of ships, or this concept image where you could see the hangar. People didn't like the space battles in Battlefront 1 because it was just a big mishmash of ships everywhere. There was no real objective. You were just shooting each other. It was just team deathmatch, but with TIE fighters. People liked the objectives to go into the other ship, and you could play as a person inside the ship. It was fun, but we don't know how the Battlefront 2 space battles are going to work. They could be like that, and if they're like that, Galactic Conquest has a higher chance of working, but at the moment, we don't know what that's going to be. My money's on it's probably not going to be that, because they don't tend to listen to the community that well, so that's probably not going to happen. So that pretty much wraps up everything today. Just a quick little video on Galactic Conquest. It's probably not going to be there at launch. It might come later in DLC. So I'll see you guys next time. Adios.